Matt Glover Productions.
Chapter 12, Section 2, Electronic Medical Records by Matt Glover. Electronic medical records, or EMR, or the alternative electronic health records, EHR, store patient data in a computerized database which can be accessed by the medical staff treating them. The data is stored the data that's stored includes necessary personal details such as contact details for the next of kin, plus medical histories, conditions, test results, vaccination records, and current treatments. It's also commonly used in the U.S. to generate billing information for patients and insurers. EMR systems continued. EMR systems make a full medical history immediately accessible to doctors, even if, for example, the patient is unconscious and unable to provide medical details. This is a very big deal because doctors may be unable to access the patient's records if they're stored in a different hospital. EMR systems often allow access to records from handheld devices such as PDAs, allowing doctors to read and update records directly from the patient's bedside. Even more conveniently, other systems offer web-based interfaces to allow access from any other internet-connected devices. And as you can see to the right, here's a picture of an EMR tablet device, which is one of the many different systems in place. So there's three general approaches to storing medical records online, and one of the first ones is centralized databases. Traditional systems store medical records in these, and they're housed and maintained by a hospital or healthcare provider. And medical staff have access to individual patient records based on their role and their need to access data in these centralized databases. Personal health records, or PHR, is different from centralized databases in the way that medical data is provided and managed by the patient themselves, not by a hospital or other healthcare provider. They're typically stored in a cloud-based system or on the patient's own computer. And during treatment, the patient provides doctors access to the PHR as needed, either online or by printing out records, and this really addresses the privacy and security issues um, of the other methods of the patient because they're able to manage their own data rather than have it in the hands of somebody else that might misuse it or that wouldn't really care about letting the information get out. And some examples of PHR include Microsoft's Health Vault and the now discontinued Google Health, which, as you can see on the right, there's a screenshot of it, of the actual program in action. And the last of the three is the smart card, where the patient carries portable health records in the form of a storage device. It can be presented by the patient during treatment, but lacks the ability for the doctor to remotely access the records. This can either be seen as a disadvantage or an advantage depending on the security concerns of the patient. The data on the smart cards is encrypted and only able to be decrypted by authorized card readers used at the hospitals. And then the picture below shows one of the smart cards in action being scanned. Benefits. One of the benefits of electronic medical records is increased efficiency and reduced costs. They consume minimal space because they're obviously electronic and can be accessed by multiple people simultaneously and can be transferred and retrieved almost instantly from location to location, which can be very useful for different doctors to look at one file at the same time. They're also much harder to lose than their paper equivalents, which also reduces the problem of duplicate medical records, which can lead to data integrity problems and also lead to billing problems like billing the wrong amount or billing twice or something like that. But one of the disadvantages of this is that databases containing all this personal information can lead to privacy, security, and data integrity issues, and there are obviously always going to be serious concerns about this. Security measures. There are many laws that address breach data protection rules and require healthcare providers to notify patients of any data security breaches. Laws include the UK Data Protection Act and the US Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. Also, different stakeholders have different levels of access. The primary doctor may have full access, while other doctors have access to only the current treatment region and other relevant conditions. Some healthcare providers may use an opt-in approach to require patients to specifically consent to the inclusion of their data in their EMR systems, although this can reduce the effectiveness of the system. Others may include patient data unless they specifically opt out. Standards for Electronic Data Interchange, or EDI. Patient records can only be easily transferred between hospitals or doctors if a common standard is used for the representation of the data. If not, then the information may be completely or partially inaccessible, or perhaps worse, may lead to integrity problems. And here are the sources and credits. Creator of introduction and closing videos and PowerPoint presentation is me, Matt Glover, and then under that are the links that I use for the information presented in this PowerPoint.